Show me your last 24 hours, and I will show you your future. Pause for a second and think about that. Yesterday, from the moment you woke up to the moment you went to sleep, where did your time actually go? Not what you planned, not what you hoped, what really happened. Did you move closer to your goals, or did you just stay busy? Did you build something meaningful, or did the day quietly disappear? In 2026, life feels faster than ever. Your phone pulls your attention every few minutes, work demands more, expectations are higher, and at the end of the day, many people feel drained but not fulfilled. That feeling is not random, it comes from unmanaged hours. Here is the hard truth. You do not need more time, you need control over the time you already have. In this video, you are going to see your day differently. You will understand why you lose focus, why you delay important things, and how to take your power back hour by hour. Stay with me, because if you master your 24 hours, you will stop feeling behind and start feeling in control. Chapter 1. Face the truth about how you actually spend time. I want you to sit with this idea for a moment. Your life in 2026 will be shaped by how you use your 24 hours today, not next month, not when things calm down. Today. Every single day gives you the same amount of time as anyone else. The difference is never the hours. The difference is how honest you are about where those hours go. Most people say they do not have time, but when you look closely, time is not missing. It is misused. It slips away quietly. It disappears in small pieces. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, an hour scrolling, another hour worrying, a few more hours reacting to other people's demands. By the end of the day, you feel tired, but you cannot clearly say what you built. That feeling is heavy. It sits in your chest. You know you could do more. You know you are capable of more, but capability means nothing without honesty. If you want to manage your 24 hours in 2026, the first step is not a planner. It is not an app. It is not a new routine. It is truth. Raw, uncomfortable truth. Look at yesterday. From the moment you opened your eyes to the moment you closed them, what did you actually do? Not what you intended, not what you told others. What did you truly spend your time on? Think about the morning. Did you wake up with purpose, or did you reach for your phone before you even sat up? Did you start the day in control, or did you allow notifications to decide your mood? That first hour matters. It sets the tone for your mind. It decides whether you lead your day or follow it. Now think about your work hours. How much time was spent in deep focus, and how much time was spent switching between tasks, checking messages, refreshing screens, reacting instead of creating? Every time you shift your attention, your energy drops. You feel busy, but you are not effective. There is a difference between movement and progress. Be honest about your evenings. After work or school, what happens? Do you invest that time in learning, building, connecting, improving? Or do you sit down exhausted and allow the hours to pass without intention? Many people say they are too tired to grow, but often they are tired because they have wasted their mental energy on things that do not matter. This is not about guilt. Guilt does not build discipline. Truth builds discipline. When you see clearly how you spend your time, something shifts inside you. You feel a sense of urgency. You feel responsibility. You feel a small discomfort that says, I can do better. And that discomfort is powerful. It is a signal that you are ready to grow. In 2026, distractions are stronger than ever. Your phone is designed to hold your attention. Social media is built to keep you scrolling. News updates are endless. Entertainment is available every second. None of this is evil, but it is powerful. If you are not aware, it will quietly control your schedule. Open your screen time report. Look at the numbers. Do not guess. Look at the facts. If you spend 3 hours a day on random content, that is over 1,000 hours a year. 1,000 hours could change your body, your income, your knowledge, your relationships. 1,000 hours is not small, it is life-changing. When you see that number, do not defend it. Do not say, I deserve to relax. Rest is important, but there is a difference between intentional rest and unconscious escape. Intentional rest refreshes you. Unconscious escape drains you. Ask yourself a simple question. At the end of the day, Do I feel proud of how I used my time? That feeling in your stomach will tell you the truth. If you feel proud, continue. If you feel regret, adjust. Managing your 24 hours begins with awareness. For 1 week, track everything. Write it down. Every hour. Be specific. 30 minutes scrolling. 1 hour watching videos. 2 hours focused work. 15 minutes complaining. 10 minutes planning. When you see it on paper, it becomes real. It is no longer vague. It is clear. Clarity changes behavior. Many people avoid this step because they are afraid of what they will find. They are afraid to see how much time they lose. But hiding from the truth does not protect you. It limits you. When you face the facts, you take back control. There is another layer of truth that goes deeper than minutes and hours. It is emotional time. How much time do you spend worrying about things you cannot control? How much time do you replay conversations in your head? How much time do you compare yourself to others online? These mental habits consume energy. Even if you are sitting still, your mind is busy, and that mental noise reduces your power to focus on what matters. Time management is not only about schedules, it is about attention. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If your attention is constantly pulled toward drama, gossip, fear, and distraction, your results will reflect that. If your attention is directed toward growth, learning, discipline, and meaningful work, your results will change. Be honest about the people around you. Do they respect your time, or do they interrupt you constantly? Do you allow every message to demand an immediate reply? When you respond instantly to everything, you train people to expect constant access to you. Then you feel overwhelmed. That overwhelm is often self-created. It takes courage to protect your time. It takes courage to say, I will respond later. It takes courage to turn off notifications. But when you do, something powerful happens. You feel calmer. Your mind feels clearer. Your work improves. In 2026, speed is everywhere. Everyone wants fast results, fast responses, fast success. But meaningful progress requires focused time. It requires blocks of quiet effort. It requires saying no to things that feel easy in the moment. You might feel a little uncomfortable when you stop wasting time. That is normal. Distraction is comfortable. It fills silence. It avoids effort. When you remove it, you face yourself. You face your goals. You face your responsibilities. That can feel heavy, but on the other side of that discomfort is growth. There is deep satisfaction in using your hours well. At the end of a focused day, your body may be tired, but your mind feels strong. You sleep better. You wake up with clarity. You respect yourself more. Self-respect is built when your actions match your intentions. If you say you want to improve your health but spend hours sitting and scrolling, there is tension inside you. If you say you want financial growth but avoid learning and skill building, there is tension. That tension drains confidence. But when your daily actions align with your goals, confidence grows naturally. Managing your 24 hours is not about being perfect. It is about being conscious. Every day gives you another chance to adjust. If you wasted time yesterday, learn from it. Do not carry shame, carry awareness. In 2026, your opportunities will expand if your discipline expands. The world rewards focus. It rewards consistency. It rewards people who can sit down and work deeply without being pulled in every direction. Face the truth about how you spend your time, and you will see patterns. Maybe you avoid difficult tasks until the last minute. Maybe you start strong in the morning and fade by afternoon. Maybe you are productive when alone but distracted in groups. These patterns are not permanent. They are habits, and habits can be changed. Start small. Choose 1 hour tomorrow that you will protect completely. No phone, no distractions, just focused effort on something that moves your life forward. Feel the difference. Notice how much you accomplish in that single hour. That experience will motivate you more than any speech. Then expand. 2 hours, 3 hours. Build momentum. Over time, your identity shifts. You no longer see yourself as someone who is always busy and overwhelmed. You see yourself as someone who directs their day with intention. Time is fair. It gives you 24 hours whether you are prepared or not, but it is also strict. It does not wait. It does not slow down. Once an hour passes, it is gone. The question is not whether you have enough time. The question is whether you respect it enough. When you respect your time, others begin to respect it too. When you treat your hours as valuable, you become more valuable. your work improves, your thinking sharpens, your decisions become clearer. There is a quiet pride that comes from mastering your day. It shows in how you speak. It shows in how you stand. It shows in how you plan. That pride is earned. It is not loud. It is steady. 2026 can be a year of massive growth for you. But it will not happen by accident. It will happen when you look at your daily routine without excuses, when you admit where you are careless, when you decide that your dreams deserve your best hours, not your leftover minutes. Face the truth. Write it down. Study it. Adjust it. Repeat this process every week. Over time, the changes will compound. Small improvements in how you use your hours will lead to major improvements in your life. Your future is built in ordinary days, not in dramatic moments, not in rare opportunities. In ordinary days where you choose focus over distraction, growth over comfort, responsibility over blame, you already have the 24 hours. The real question is what kind of person you become within them. Chapter 2. Accept responsibility for every hour you lose. Stand here with me for a moment and think about this carefully. Every hour you lose has a name on it, not your boss, not your family, not the government, not the economy. Your name. That may sound direct, but growth begins when excuses end. In 2026, the world is loud, opportunities are everywhere, and so are distractions. You can spend an entire day reacting to messages, requests, trends, and other people's priorities. Then you reach the evening and feel a quiet frustration. You feel that the day slipped away. The truth is simple. Hours do not disappear. They are given away. Responsibility is not a heavy word when you understand it correctly. It is power. When you say, I am responsible for how I use my time, you take back control. When you say, they wasted my time, you give that control away. The difference between those two sentences shapes your future. Think about a typical lost hour. You planned to work on something important. Instead, you checked your phone for a minute. That minute turned into 20. Then you watched something you did not plan to watch. Then you replied to messages that were not urgent. An hour passed. Now who owns that hour? The app, the person who sent the message, or you? It is uncomfortable to admit, but you made the choice. That is not meant to shame you. It is meant to strengthen you. Because if you made the choice, you can make a different one next time. Many people protect their pride by blaming circumstances. They say they are too busy. They say life is chaotic. They say other people depend on them. All of that may be true. Life is demanding. People need you. Work is intense. Still, within those conditions, you make decisions every hour. You decide whether to focus or drift. You decide whether to prepare or postpone. You decide whether to build or to delay. Responsibility means you stop saying, I had no time, and start saying, I did not use my time well. That shift may feel sharp at first. You might feel exposed. But once you accept it, something powerful happens. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop hoping for fewer interruptions. You start managing what is in front of you. There is a deep emotional difference between feeling like a victim of time and feeling like a manager of time. When you feel like a victim, you are frustrated, you complain, you feel rushed, you feel behind. When you feel like a manager, you are calmer, you decide what deserves your attention, you accept trade-offs, you understand that every yes means a no to something else. Every hour you lose costs more than 60 minutes. It costs momentum, it costs confidence, it costs trust in yourself. When you tell yourself that you will work out at 6 and you do not, you weaken your self-image. When you promise yourself that you will study, plan or improve and you break that promise, you chip away at your own credibility. On the other hand, when you accept responsibility, you build inner strength. You say, I did not handle that hour well. I will adjust tomorrow. No drama, no self-attack, just ownership. Ownership is maturity. Ownership is leadership. In 2026, your calendar may be full. Meetings, deadlines, family commitments, social events. The schedule can feel packed from morning to night. Even in a full calendar, you still control certain choices. You control when you sleep. You control what you consume. You control how long you stay on tasks that do not matter. You control your preparation. Consider preparation carefully. Many hours are lost because people do not prepare. They wake up without a clear plan. They start the day reacting instead of directing. Then they say the day got away from them. The day did not run away. It was not given direction. Before you sleep, decide the 3 most important actions for tomorrow. Write them down. When you wake up, begin with one of them before checking anything else. If you fail to do that, do not blame your phone. You picked it up. Responsibility is not harsh, it is honest. There will be times when others interrupt you. That is part of life. The key question is how you respond. Do you allow every interruption to stretch longer than necessary? Do you engage in conversations that do not serve your goals? Do you say yes when you know you should say no? Every unnecessary extension of a conversation is a choice. Saying no is a form of self-respect. It may feel uncomfortable in the moment. Your heart may beat faster. You may worry about disappointing someone. But when you say yes to everything, you end up disappointing yourself. And that disappointment accumulates quietly. Accepting responsibility also means reviewing your emotional habits. Sometimes hours are lost not to activity, but to negative thinking. You replay a mistake. You imagine worst-case scenarios. You compare yourself to others. While your body sits still, your mind burns energy. At the end of the day, you feel drained, but you did not move forward. You are responsible for training your thoughts. That does not mean you control every feeling. Emotions will rise, stress will appear, frustration will visit you. Responsibility means you choose how long you stay there. You choose whether to return to your task or to remain stuck in your head. One of the strongest statements you can make to yourself is this: no one owes me productivity, it is my duty. That mindset changes how you walk into each day. Instead of expecting the world to be smooth, you prepare for challenges. Instead of being surprised by distraction, you anticipate it and protect your focus. There is also the issue of comfort. Comfort steals hours quietly. You tell yourself you will start in 10 minutes. You delay a difficult task because it feels heavy. You choose easy entertainment over meaningful effort. Each small comfort feels harmless. Over weeks and months, the cost becomes visible in missed opportunities. When you accept responsibility, you stop negotiating with weakness. You understand that growth requires discomfort. You feel the resistance and act anyway. That decision builds mental toughness. That toughness reduces future hesitation. Look closely at how you spend small gaps in your day. Waiting in line, sitting in a car, breaks between tasks. These moments can be invested or wasted. You can learn something. You can reflect. You can plan, or you can scroll without awareness. Those small pockets add up to large blocks of time over a year. Responsibility means you do not treat small moments as meaningless. You understand that your life is built in minutes, not in grand events. You understand that consistency beats intensity. You may have lost many hours in the past. Do not carry regret as a burden. Carry it as a lesson. Regret can either weaken you or sharpen you. If you accept responsibility, it sharpens you. It reminds you that time is limited and valuable. Think about the goals you care about deeply. Better health, stronger finances, deeper relationships, personal growth. None of these grow by accident. They grow by daily investment. If you lose 2 hours each evening to mindless activity, that is 14 hours a week. In 1 year, that is more than 700 hours. Imagine what focused effort could do with that time. When you see the numbers clearly, responsibility becomes logical. It is no longer emotional. It is math. If you want different results, you must redirect hours. There is pride in knowing that you did not waste your day. When you lie down at night and review your actions, you feel steady. You may not have achieved everything, but you moved forward. That feeling strengthens your character. It builds quiet confidence. Accepting responsibility also changes how others see you. When you show up prepared, on time and focused, people notice. They trust you more. They respect your boundaries. They take your commitments seriously. Your reputation improves because you manage your hours with discipline. The opposite is also true. When you constantly run late, cancel plans, delay projects and blame circumstances, trust decreases. Opportunities shrink. People hesitate to rely on you. Responsibility shapes not only your internal world, but your external results. In 2026, technology will continue to compete for your attention. New platforms, new updates, new trends. You cannot control what is created. You can control what you consume. If you lose hours to endless content, admit that you chose it, then decide how much is reasonable, set limits, follow them. No one will guard your time for you. No system will magically protect your schedule if you do not value it. Responsibility means you act as the guardian of your own life. There will be days when things truly go wrong, unexpected problems, emergencies, delays outside your control. Even then, your response remains your responsibility. You choose whether to recover quickly or to surrender the entire day. One problem does not need to cancel all progress. Strength grows when excuses shrink. Each time you say, "I could have handled that better," you become stronger. Each time you say, "It was not my fault," you remain stuck. Take a quiet moment each evening and ask yourself, where did I lose time today? Do not judge, observe. Then ask, how will I protect that hour tomorrow? That simple practice builds awareness and accountability. Your 24 hours are a daily gift. Not everyone gets another set tomorrow. Treat them with seriousness. Treat them with respect. When you lose an hour, do not shrug. Notice it. Learn from it. Adjust. Responsibility is not about being perfect. It is about being conscious. It is about standing tall and saying, "My life is shaped by my decisions." That statement may feel heavy, but it is also freeing. Because if your decisions shape your life, then you have the power to shape your future. In 2026, do not drift through your days hoping for improvement. Step forward with ownership. Claim your hours. Guard them. Invest them wisely. When you do, you will not need to chase confidence. It will follow you naturally. Every hour you keep builds your future. Every hour you lose teaches you something if you are willing to accept responsibility. The choice is always present, and that choice is yours. Chapter 3. Choose long-term growth over short-term comfort. There is a quiet battle happening inside you every single day. It is not loud. It does not announce itself. It shows up in small decisions. Stay in bed or wake up. Eat what is easy or eat what is right. Scroll for another hour or study something useful. Speak up or stay silent. Save money or spend it. Practice or postpone. That battle decides who you become. Short-term comfort feels good immediately. It is warm. It is easy. It asks nothing from you. It tells you that you deserve a break. It tells you that starting tomorrow will be better. It tells you that one more delay will not matter. In the moment it feels harmless. Long-term growth feels different. It asks for effort. It demands patience. It requires you to do things even when you do not feel like it. It does not always give quick results. Some days it feels slow. Some days it feels heavy. But it builds something real inside you. In 2026, comfort is everywhere. Food arrives quickly. Entertainment never ends. Distraction is one tap away. You can avoid effort all day if you choose. The world makes it simple to stay average. That is why choosing growth is now a conscious decision. Look at your daily habits. When you wake up tired, what do you choose? If you stay in bed because it feels good, you start your day behind. If you get up and move your body, even when you feel resistance, you send a message to yourself. That message says, "My future matters more than my mood." Comfort feeds feelings. Growth feeds identity. When you choose comfort again and again, you slowly train yourself to avoid challenge. You become sensitive to difficulty. Small tasks feel overwhelming. Criticism feels unbearable. Delays feel like failure. You shrink without noticing. When you choose growth again and again, you build strength quietly. You become more stable. Hard conversations become easier. Long projects feel manageable. Setbacks do not shake you as much. You expand without needing applause. Think about your goals seriously. Do you want better health? That requires consistent action, not occasional motivation. Do you want financial progress? That requires learning, saving, and disciplined spending. Do you want stronger relationships? That requires listening, patience, and effort, even when you are tired. Short-term comfort whispers, "Skip it today." Long-term growth says, "Do it anyway." The difference between the life you have and the life you want is found in these daily choices. It is not dramatic. It is not glamorous. It is repetitive and steady. You may say, "I work hard. I deserve to relax." Rest is important. Recovery is necessary. The problem is not rest. The problem is escape. Rest prepares you to perform better. Escape helps you avoid responsibility. One refreshes you, the other delays you. When you sit down at night after a day of intentional effort, your body may feel tired, but your mind feels satisfied. There is a calm pride that comes from progress. When you sit down after avoiding your priorities, your body may feel relaxed, but your mind feels restless. That restless feeling is a signal. Growth requires you to delay pleasure. That does not mean you eliminate joy. It means you schedule it wisely, you earn it, you enjoy it without guilt because you handled your responsibilities first. In 2026, attention is currency. If you give your attention to low-value activities for hours, you weaken your ability to focus deeply. Comfort becomes your default setting. Then, when it is time to work on something important, your mind struggles to stay engaged. You feel distracted quickly. That is the cost of repeated comfort. Training your mind to choose growth strengthens your concentration. When you sit down to work, you work. When you study, you study. When you train, you train. You are present. That presence improves the quality of everything you do. There will be moments when growth feels lonely. Not everyone around you will understand your discipline. Some may tease you for saying no. Some may question why you are so focused. Remember that not everyone wants the same results. If you want more from life, your habits must look different. Comfort often comes from blending in. Growth sometimes requires standing apart. Consider your financial decisions. Buying something now feels good. Saving or investing requires restraint. One gives instant satisfaction, the other builds long-term security. Years later, the disciplined choice creates freedom. The impulsive choice creates pressure. Consider your physical health. Skipping exercise is easy. Choosing to move when you are tired requires strength. Eating processed food is convenient. Preparing balanced meals takes effort. Years later, those small decisions show up in your energy, your confidence, your medical reports. Consider your skills. Watching others succeed is entertaining. Developing your own abilities is demanding. Practice can feel repetitive. Learning can feel slow. But each hour invested compounds over time. You become more valuable. Your options increase. Growth is rarely exciting in the beginning. It is steady and sometimes quiet. The excitement comes later when results appear. Short-term comfort is loud. It celebrates immediately. It feels rewarding on the surface. Later, it leaves you with regret. Inside you, there is a part that wants ease and a part that wants expansion. Both voices are real. The question is which one you feed more often. When you constantly choose ease, you train yourself to run from effort. When you repeatedly choose effort, you train yourself to handle more. Capacity grows with use. In 2026, competition will increase in every field. Skills will matter. Discipline will matter. Emotional control will matter. Those who choose growth consistently will stand out. Those who choose comfort will wonder why progress feels slow. There is also emotional comfort. Avoiding difficult conversations feels safe. Speaking honestly can feel uncomfortable. Yet growth in relationships requires honesty. Addressing problems early prevents larger conflicts later. Silence may protect you today, but it can damage connection over time. Choosing growth means telling the truth kindly. It means apologizing when wrong. It means asking for feedback. It means hearing criticism without collapsing. These actions stretch you. They improve your character. Growth also requires patience. Results rarely appear overnight. You may work hard for weeks without visible change. That is where many people quit. They return to comfort because it gives faster feedback. Entertainment gives instant stimulation. Improvement gives delayed reward. Strong individuals understand delayed reward. They trust the process. They understand that consistent action, even without immediate results, is shaping them. Think about who you want to become in 5 years. Picture your habits, your discipline, your energy, your mindset. That future version of you is built by daily decisions, not by wishes, not by intentions alone. You cannot live a comfort-focused life and expect growth-focused results. The math does not work. There will be days when you are exhausted. On those days, adjust your intensity, but not your standards. If you planned an hour of study and you can only manage 30 minutes, complete the 30 with focus. Do not abandon the habit entirely. Protect the pattern. Habits form identity. Identity shapes destiny. Choosing growth does not mean punishing yourself. It means respecting your potential. It means recognizing that you are capable of more than immediate pleasure. Ask yourself before making a decision, will this move me forward or hold me in place? That question brings clarity. It forces you to think beyond the present moment. When you consistently choose forward movement, confidence builds. You trust yourself more. You feel stronger mentally. You carry yourself differently. Others notice your stability. When you consistently choose comfort, self-doubt increases. You question your discipline. You hesitate to commit to big goals because you know your habits are weak. That inner conflict reduces courage. In 2026, your environment will offer constant comfort. It will not force you to grow. Growth is self-directed. It is chosen. You may fail some days. You may fall back into old patterns. That does not erase progress. What matters is how quickly you return to growth. Do not stay down. Correct your course. Continue. There is deep satisfaction in looking back after a year and seeing clear improvement. Stronger body, sharper skills, better financial position, healthier relationships. That satisfaction cannot be bought. It is earned through daily discipline. Short-term comfort feels good now, but costs you later. Long-term growth may feel difficult now, but rewards you later. Every day you are paying one of those prices. Be honest about what you are paying. If you want 2026 to be different, your daily decisions must change. Choose the workout. Choose the study session. Choose the hard task first. Choose to save. Choose to speak honestly. Choose to prepare. These choices are not dramatic. They are steady. Over time, they transform you. You do not need to be extreme. You need to be consistent. Small growth choices repeated daily will outperform occasional bursts of motivation. The person you admire is not more talented in every case. Often they simply chose growth more frequently than comfort. They endured boredom. They tolerated discomfort. They stayed focused when it would have been easier to quit. You have that same ability. Each morning, you are given a new chance to choose. Each hour presents another decision. Comfort or growth. Ease or expansion. Delay or discipline. Your future will reflect your answer. Choose the path that builds you. Even when it feels challenging. Even when no one is watching. Even when progress is slow. Because long-term growth does not just change your results. It changes who you are. And who you are determines everything that follows.
Chapter 4. Train your mind to act before it feels ready. There is a lie that quietly controls many lives. The lie says you must feel ready before you begin. It tells you to wait for confidence, wait for clarity, wait for motivation, wait for the perfect mood. It sounds reasonable, it feels safe, but it keeps people stuck for years. Readiness is often a feeling people expect before action. In reality, readiness is usually the result of action. The mind wants certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants proof that effort will succeed. When that proof is missing, hesitation appears. In 2026, hesitation is expensive. The world moves quickly. Opportunities open and close fast. If you wait until you feel completely prepared, you will watch others move ahead while you are still thinking. Your mind is designed to protect you. It tries to avoid risk. It tries to prevent embarrassment. It tries to reduce discomfort. When you consider starting something new, your brain searches for possible threats. What if you fail? What if people judge you? What if you look inexperienced? These thoughts create doubt. Doubt creates delay. Acting before you feel ready means you understand this process and move anyway. Think about a time when you delayed something important. Maybe it was a project, a conversation, a workout, or a decision. You told yourself you would start when you felt more confident. Days passed, weeks passed. The task remained. The stress increased. The longer you waited, the heavier it felt. Now think about a time when you acted even though you were unsure. You felt nervous. Your hands may have been tense. Your heart may have been beating faster. Yet you stepped forward. After you began, something changed. The fear reduced. Your focus increased. Momentum started to build. That is the pattern. Action reduces anxiety. Delay increases it. Many people confuse fear with a signal to stop. Often fear is a signal that growth is nearby. When you stretch beyond your comfort zone, your body reacts. That reaction does not mean you are incapable. It means you are expanding. Training your mind to act before it feels ready is a skill. It does not appear overnight. It develops through repetition. Start by shrinking the gap between thought and action. When you decide to do something productive, begin within 5 seconds. Do not open another tab. Do not check another message. Do not negotiate with yourself.
Stand up, pick up the book, open the document, make the call. Movement interrupts doubt. The longer you sit with hesitation, the stronger it becomes. The faster you move, the weaker it feels. Perfection is another trap. Many wait because they want everything organized before they begin. They want the ideal plan, the ideal conditions, the ideal timing. That ideal moment rarely arrives. Conditions are almost never perfect. There will always be noise. There will always be uncertainty. Progress belongs to those who start imperfectly and adjust along the way. In 2026, information is everywhere. You can learn endlessly without applying anything. You can watch tutorials for hours and still never practice. Learning feels productive. It feels safe. But without execution, it produces nothing tangible. At some point, preparation must turn into performance. You may not feel ready to launch a project. You may not feel ready to apply for a better position. You may not feel ready to speak in front of others. The truth is simple. Readiness grows through exposure. The first attempt may be uncomfortable. The second feels slightly easier. The 10th feels normal. Confidence is built through evidence. Each time you act despite uncertainty, you collect proof that you can handle discomfort. That proof strengthens your self-belief. Waiting for motivation is another common mistake. Motivation is unpredictable. Some mornings you wake up energized. Other mornings you feel flat. If you depend on motivation, your output will be inconsistent. Discipline is more reliable. Discipline says you act because you decided, not because you feel inspired. There is a powerful shift when you understand that feelings are temporary. You may feel unprepared right now. That feeling can change within minutes. Once you begin, you may feel tired before exercise. After 10 minutes of movement, your energy rises. You may feel anxious before starting work. After 20 minutes of focus, your mind settles. Feelings often follow behavior, not the other way around. Consider the emotional cost of constant delay. When you postpone repeatedly, your self-trust weakens. You begin to doubt your own promises. You hesitate to set goals because you fear you will not follow through. This erosion of trust damages confidence deeply. On the other hand, when you act quickly on positive intentions, you strengthen your internal reputation. You see yourself as someone who moves. That identity influences future decisions. In 2026, distractions will compete for your attention at every moment. If you hesitate, something else will claim your focus. Acting quickly protects your priorities. There will be times when you truly need preparation. Acting before you feel ready does not mean acting recklessly. It means recognizing that complete certainty is unnecessary. You prepare reasonably and then step forward. Imagine you want to improve your health. You do not need to know everything about nutrition before you begin eating better. You do not need perfect fitness knowledge before you start walking or training. You begin with what you know. You refine over time. Imagine you want to improve your income. You may not feel fully qualified for a new opportunity. If you wait until you believe you are perfect, you may never apply. Sometimes growth requires stepping into roles that stretch you. You learn while doing. There is strength in tolerating initial awkwardness. The first presentation may feel shaky. The first video may feel uncomfortable. The first sales call may feel tense. That discomfort is part of the process. Avoiding it guarantees stagnation. The mind often exaggerates risk. It imagines worst-case scenarios. In reality, most outcomes are manageable. Even failure teaches lessons. Even rejection builds resilience. Train yourself to ask a different question. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" ask, "What will I lose if I never try?" That question reveals the real cost of hesitation. Small daily actions build courage. When your alarm rings, get up immediately. When you decide to send an important message, send it. When you schedule a task, begin at the scheduled time. These small acts train your brain to move without extended debate. The brain adapts to patterns. If you regularly delay, delay becomes your default response. If you regularly act promptly, prompt action becomes natural. You may notice resistance when you start this practice. Your mind will produce reasons to wait. It will suggest you start later in the day. It will tell you to check one more thing first. Recognize these thoughts without obeying them. Self-control grows through repetition. Each time you override hesitation, your mental strength increases slightly. Over months, that strength becomes noticeable. Acting before you feel ready also reduces overthinking. Overthinking drains energy. It creates imaginary problems. It magnifies minor concerns. Action cuts through that noise.
Once you begin, your attention shifts to the task itself. In 2026, speed of execution will separate average performers from exceptional ones. Many have ideas, few implement them quickly. If you become someone who acts decisively, you gain an advantage. There will still be fear. Courage does not eliminate fear. Courage means moving despite it. The absence of fear is not required for progress. You might be thinking that some decisions are too big to act on quickly. Major life choices deserve thought. Still, even large goals can be broken into small steps. You may not feel ready to change careers, but you can research. You can enroll in a course. You can network. Small actions build clarity. Clarity rarely appears while sitting still. It emerges during movement. You are stronger than your initial hesitation. The mind's first reaction is often protective, not predictive. It does not accurately measure your capability. It simply reacts to unfamiliarity. Growth lives on the other side of unfamiliarity. Every time you act before you feel fully prepared, you send a message to yourself that you are capable of handling discomfort. That message becomes part of your identity. Over time, you will notice that tasks which once intimidated you no longer feel overwhelming. You will notice that starting becomes easier. You will notice that you waste less time debating and more time doing. This shift compounds. More action produces more results. More results produce more confidence. More confidence encourages further action. If you want 2026 to be different from previous years, you must reduce the delay between decision and execution. Do not wait for perfect confidence. Create confidence through repeated effort. Your future is shaped by the moments when you choose to move instead of pause. When the opportunity appears, step forward. When the idea comes to you, begin shaping it. When the task feels heavy, start with the first small piece. Momentum is powerful. Once it begins, it carries you. You do not need to feel ready to act. You need to decide that growth matters more than comfort. Once that decision is made, action follows. Train your mind daily. Interrupt hesitation. Replace delay with movement. Replace doubt with effort. The person who acts consistently builds a life of progress. The person who waits builds a life of intention without results. Your potential is waiting for action, not for perfect feelings. Move forward, even if your voice shakes, even if your hands feel tense, even if your thoughts are uncertain. Action will teach you what preparation alone never can.
Chapter 5. Build self-respect by keeping daily promises. There is something deeply personal about the promises you make to yourself. No one else hears them. No one else signs a contract. They live quietly in your mind. I will wake up early. I will start saving. I will stop wasting time. I will train today. These statements seem small in the moment, but they shape how you see yourself. Self-respect is not built through compliments. It is not built through social media approval. It is not built through talk. It is built when your actions match your words. Especially the words you speak privately. When you repeatedly break promises to yourself, something inside you weakens. You may still smile in public, you may still look confident, but deep down you know the truth. You said you would do something and you did not. That gap between intention and action creates quiet disappointment. On the other hand, when you keep your word to yourself, even in small ways, a different feeling grows. It is steady, it is calm, it is not loud, it is the feeling of integrity. You begin to trust yourself. That trust changes how you walk, how you speak, and how you plan your future. In 2026, many people talk about goals. They announce them, they post them, they discuss them, but self-respect is not built through announcements. It is built through daily follow-through. Think about the first promise you break in the morning. The alarm rings. You told yourself you would get up. You press snooze. It seems harmless, but that small decision sends a message. It says comfort is stronger than commitment. That message repeats every time you delay. Now imagine you get up when you said you would. You feel resistance, but you stand up anyway. That simple act sends a different message. It says discipline leads. That message shapes your identity. Every day offers dozens of opportunities to either strengthen or weaken your self-respect. You decide to eat better. You decide to limit screen time. You decide to study for 1 hour. You decide to save a certain amount of money. These are daily promises. They are the building blocks of character. Many people underestimate small commitments. They wait for big achievements to feel proud. They think respect will come when they earn more, lose weight, or reach a milestone. but the foundation of those achievements is daily reliability. If you cannot trust yourself with small promises, how will you trust yourself with larger ones? Keeping your word to others is important. Keeping your word to yourself is essential, because you live with yourself every day. You hear your own thoughts. You know when you cut corners. There is a psychological shift that happens when you begin honoring your commitments. Your internal dialogue changes. Instead of saying, "I hope I follow through," you say, "I do what I say." That shift builds mental strength. In 2026, distractions will try to pull you away from your priorities constantly. You may promise yourself a focused evening. A notification appears. You consider checking it. This is the moment where self-respect is tested. Not in dramatic situations, but in quiet decisions. If you give in, you teach yourself that your priorities are flexible. If you stay focused, you reinforce that your goals matter. Self-respect grows through consistency, not intensity. You do not need extreme routines, you need steady action. If you promise yourself 30 minutes of reading, complete the 30 minutes. If you promise 10 minutes of reflection, complete the 10 minutes. Fulfillment matters more than scale. There will be days when you feel tired or discouraged. On those days, adjust the size of the promise if necessary, but do not abandon it completely. If you planned a long workout and you lack energy, do a shorter one. If you plan to study for an hour and your focus is low, study for 20 minutes with full attention. Protect the habit of keeping your word. When you repeatedly follow through, you develop a quiet pride. That pride does not depend on external validation. It comes from within. It strengthens resilience. It makes it easier to face challenges. Breaking promises has a cost beyond missed tasks. It erodes confidence. You hesitate to commit to new goals because you doubt your own discipline. You lower your expectations. You avoid ambitious plans because you fear disappointment. Keeping promises has the opposite effect. It expands your vision. You trust that if you set a goal, you will pursue it seriously. That trust allows you to aim higher. Consider your financial life. If you promise to save a certain amount each month and you follow through consistently, even if the amount is small, you build financial discipline. That discipline leads to security over time. If you repeatedly spend what you intended to save, you create stress. The numbers reflect your habits. Consider your physical health. If you promise to move your body regularly and you keep that commitment, your strength improves, your energy rises. If you skip repeatedly, you feel sluggish, your self-image declines. Consider your relationships. If you promise to listen more carefully, to be present, to control your temper, and you act on those promises, your relationships deepen. If you ignore those intentions, distance grows. Self-respect touches every area of life because it is rooted in daily behavior. One powerful exercise is to reduce the number of promises you make. Many people overcommit. They set unrealistic schedules. They promise more than they can deliver. Then they fail and feel discouraged. Start with fewer promises, but treat them seriously. Build a track record of reliability. Write down 3 daily commitments. Keep them simple and clear. For example, wake at a set time, complete a focused work block, and move your body. When you complete these consistently, add another. Progress, step by step. Your mind records patterns. When it sees you following through repeatedly, it begins to believe in you. That belief influences how you handle pressure. You become more composed because you have evidence of your discipline. There will be moments when no one is watching. Those are the moments that matter most. If you are alone and you choose to stay true to your word, you strengthen your character. Character is built in privacy. In 2026, external validation will be loud. Likes, comments, opinions. None of these build self-respect. They may feel good briefly, but they fade. The satisfaction of honoring your commitments lasts longer. Sometimes you will fail. You will miss a promise. Do not turn one mistake into a pattern. Acknowledge it. Correct it quickly. The danger is not in a single failure. The danger is in accepting failure as normal. Self-respect is fragile when neglected and powerful when protected. Notice how you feel at the end of a day when you did what you said you would do. There is calmness, there is clarity, there is less internal conflict. Now notice how you feel after a day of broken commitments. There is tension, there is frustration. You may try to distract yourself from that feeling, but it remains. Those feelings are feedback. If you want stronger self-respect, stop negotiating with yourself. When you decide, act. When you schedule, show up. When you commit, complete.
Over time, this approach transforms your identity. You become dependable in your own eyes. That internal dependability translates into external reliability. Others begin to trust you more because you trust yourself first. The world in 2026 will reward those who are consistent. Skills can be learned, opportunities can be created, but reliability is rare. If you become someone who keeps promises daily, you gain a competitive advantage. You will also experience less stress. When you follow through, you avoid last-minute panic. You avoid regret. You avoid the mental load of unfinished tasks hanging over you. There is dignity in discipline. It may not always be exciting, but it is powerful. Each morning, remind yourself that your word matters. Even if no one else hears it, even if the promise seems small, treat it with seriousness. You do not need grand gestures to build self-respect. You need repeated alignment between intention and action. The person you become is shaped by the promises you keep. If you want to feel stronger inside, start honoring your commitments today, not tomorrow, not when conditions improve. Begin with the next promise you make. Follow through, complete it, then complete the next one. Over weeks and months, you will notice a shift. You will stand a little straighter. You will speak with more certainty. You will plan with greater confidence. Self-respect is not given, it is earned daily, and it begins when you decide that your word to yourself is not optional.
Chapter 6. Reduce overthinking by deciding and moving fast. Overthinking feels productive. It feels like you are being careful. It feels like you are protecting yourself from mistakes. You sit there going over every angle, every possible outcome, every reaction someone might have. Your mind stays busy, but nothing moves forward. In 2026, information is endless. Opinions are everywhere. You can research a simple decision for hours and still feel uncertain. That is the trap. The more you search for perfect clarity, the more confused you become. Overthinking does not create confidence, it drains it. A decision is powerful because it creates direction. Movement is powerful because it creates feedback. When you delay both, you remain stuck in your head. Think about how many small choices you postpone each day. Should you start that project now or later? Should you send that message or wait? Should you commit to the plan or think about it another day? These delays seem harmless, but they create mental clutter. Every unfinished decision takes up space in your mind. That space becomes stress. Overthinking is often fear wearing the mask of intelligence. It says you need more time. It says you need more data. It says you need to be absolutely sure. In reality, most decisions do not require perfect certainty. They require reasonable judgment and courage. There is a big difference between thoughtful planning and endless analysis. Planning has a time limit. Analysis without action has no end. When you decide and move quickly, you reduce mental pressure. You remove the weight of indecision. Even if the decision is not perfect, progress begins. Progress provides information. Information allows adjustment. When you stay in your head too long, imagination takes control. You imagine rejection. You imagine failure. You imagine embarrassment. These images feel real. Your body reacts. Your heart rate may increase. Your muscles may tighten. Yet nothing has actually happened. Action breaks that cycle. Consider a simple example. You want to start improving your fitness. You begin researching programs. You compare trainers. You watch videos. You read articles. Weeks pass. You still have not exercised. The research felt productive, but your body has not changed. Now imagine you choose a simple plan within 30 minutes and begin the same day. You may not have chosen the perfect method, but you are moving. Within a week you feel stronger. Within a month you see change. That momentum motivates you to refine your approach. Decide, move, adjust. That sequence beats endless thinking. In 2026, speed matters. Not reckless speed, but decisive speed. The ability to make a reasonable choice and commit to it gives you an advantage. Many people hesitate. They second guess. They ask 10 people for opinions. By the time they act, the opportunity has shifted. Overthinking is also tied to perfectionism. You want to avoid mistakes. You want your first attempt to be flawless. That pressure increases hesitation. The truth is simple. Mistakes are part of growth. They teach faster than theory ever will. When you decide quickly, you accept that you might need to correct your path. That is not weakness, that is adaptability. Your mind becomes clearer when you limit the time you give yourself to decide. For small decisions, set a short deadline, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, choose and move on. For larger decisions, set a reasonable period for research. Once that time is up, commit. Indecision creates anxiety. Commitment creates relief. Think about the emotional cost of replaying options over and over. It is exhausting. You lie awake at night, thinking about what you should do. You imagine conversations. You rewrite plans in your head. Sleep suffers. Energy drops. All because a decision remains unresolved. When you finally decide, even if it is difficult, you feel lighter. That relief proves how heavy indecision was. Overthinking often comes from a lack of trust in yourself. You doubt your judgment. You fear making the wrong call. Building trust requires action. When you make decisions and handle the outcomes responsibly, you prove to yourself that you can manage consequences. That proof strengthens your confidence for future choices. In 2026, you will face countless options, career paths, learning opportunities, social invitations, investment choices. If you attempt to evaluate every possibility perfectly, you will freeze. Instead, clarify your values. Know what matters most. Then measure decisions against those values. When your values are clear, decisions become simpler. Another reason people overthink is the desire to please everyone. You consider how each choice will affect others. You imagine their reactions. You try to predict approval. This creates mental overload. You cannot control every opinion. You can only act with integrity. Make decisions that align with your goals and principles. Accept that not everyone will agree. Respect their perspective without abandoning your direction. Moving fast does not mean being careless. It means eliminating unnecessary delay. It means recognizing when additional thinking adds no real benefit. There is also the issue of comparison. You look at what others are doing. You wonder if their path is better. You scroll through success stories. You start doubting your own direction. Comparison feeds overthinking. It shifts your focus from action to analysis of other people's lives. Return to your own plan. Your journey does not need to mirror anyone else's. Decide based on your strengths, interests, and circumstances. Physical movement can also reduce overthinking. When your mind feels crowded, stand up, walk, breathe deeply, then choose one small step and complete it immediately. Movement changes your state. A different state supports clearer decisions. You may worry about making a wrong decision. Understand this clearly. Most decisions are not permanent. Careers can shift. Skills can be learned. Plans can evolve. The fear of permanent damage often exaggerates the risk. The real danger is staying inactive for too long. Overthinking delays experience. Experience builds wisdom. Without experience, you remain unsure. With experience, even if imperfect, you gain perspective. In 2026, those who act consistently will learn faster than those who analyze endlessly. Learning speed compounds over time. If you notice yourself thinking in circles, ask a simple question. What is the next small action I can take right now? Do not focus on the entire outcome. Focus on the immediate step. Send the email. Register for the class. Draft the outline. Schedule the meeting. Small actions create clarity. There is strength in being decisive. It does not mean you are never wrong. It means you are willing to choose and take responsibility for the result. You will feel more in control of your life when you reduce overthinking. You will have more mental energy for meaningful tasks. You will sleep better because fewer decisions remain unresolved. Make it a habit to close loops quickly. If something can be decided in minutes, decide it. If a message requires a simple reply, respond. If a task takes less than 5 minutes, complete it. These small practices prevent mental buildup. When faced with a bigger choice, gather essential information, not endless opinions. Write down the pros and cons briefly. Choose. Commit fully for a defined period. Evaluate after experience, not before. The mind respects clarity. Clarity comes from decisions. You cannot think your way into confidence. You act your way into confidence. As 2026 unfolds, train yourself to recognize when thinking turns into avoidance. Notice the signs. Repeating the same thoughts. Seeking one more article. Asking one more person for advice. When you catch it, interrupt it with action. There is freedom in movement. There is power in commitment. Your future will not be shaped by perfect analysis. It will be shaped by consistent execution. Reduce the time between idea and implementation. Reduce the space between choice and commitment.
Reduce the energy spent on imaginary outcomes. Decide, move, learn, adjust. Overthinking shrinks when action expands. The life you want requires forward motion, not endless contemplation. Choose wisely, then move with confidence.
Chapter 7. Strengthen focus by removing easy temptations. Focus is not lost because you are weak. Focus is lost because temptation is close. It sits in your pocket. It glows on your screen. It waits on your desk. It calls your name when work becomes slightly uncomfortable. In 2026, temptation is designed to be convenient. It is fast, colorful, and always available. If you want stronger focus, you do not begin with willpower. You begin with your environment. Look at where you work. Is your phone beside you with notifications active? Are multiple tabs open? Is the television running in the background? Are snacks within reach? Each of these small details pulls at your attention. You may believe you can ignore them. Most of the time you cannot. The brain is wired to notice novelty. Every sound, every vibration, every movement in your peripheral vision competes with your task. Even if you do not pick up the phone, part of your attention shifts toward it. That shift reduces the quality of your work. Strengthening focus starts with removing what distracts you easily. Place your phone in another room when you need deep work, not face down on the table, not on silent beside you. In another room, the physical distance reduces the urge to check it. If it is not within reach, the impulse weakens. Turn off non-essential notifications permanently. Most alerts are not urgent. They create artificial urgency. Each time you stop to check a message, your concentration resets. Returning to full attention takes time. Create a workspace that signals seriousness. Clear your desk of unnecessary items. Keep only what supports the task. When your environment is simple, your mind becomes calmer. In 2026, content platforms are engineered to keep you engaged. They study behavior. They learn what holds your attention. They feed you endless material. Expecting yourself to resist that constantly, through pure discipline, is unrealistic. A better strategy is to limit exposure. Delete apps that consume hours without adding value. If deletion feels extreme, log out after each use. Make access slightly inconvenient. Even small barriers reduce mindless checking. Temptation thrives on convenience. Make distractions inconvenient. Make progress convenient. Prepare your work materials in advance. If you plan to study in the evening, set up your books and notes before dinner. If you plan to exercise in the morning, lay out your clothes at night. Reduce the steps between you and the task. The fewer decisions required, the easier it is to begin. Focus is easier when the right choice is simple. Pay attention to your physical environment beyond screens. Noise can break concentration. If your surroundings are loud, consider using noise-cancelling headphones or playing neutral background sound. Protect your attention as carefully as you protect your finances. Another powerful strategy is scheduling specific times for distraction. Completely banning entertainment can create frustration. Instead, assign it a slot. When you know you will check messages or browse at a defined time, you feel less urge to do it randomly. Structure reduces temptation. Notice also the role of fatigue. When you are tired, your resistance drops. Easy temptations become more appealing. Protect your sleep. A rested mind handles distraction better than an exhausted one. Nutrition and movement also affect focus. Heavy meals and inactivity can reduce alertness. Balanced meals and regular movement improve clarity. Strengthening focus is not only mental, it is physical. Be aware of emotional triggers. Stress, boredom, and frustration often lead to distraction. When a task feels difficult, your brain looks for relief. Relief is one click away. Instead of escaping immediately, pause, take a slow breath. Break the task into smaller steps. Reduce the difficulty rather than abandoning it. Focus grows when you learn to stay with mild discomfort. Set clear work intervals. For example, commit to 25 or 50 minutes of uninterrupted effort. During that period, no checking, no switching tasks. When the timer ends, take a short break intentionally.
This rhythm trains your brain to concentrate in blocks. Without structure, attention drifts naturally. In 2026, multitasking is often praised. In reality, it weakens performance. Switching between tasks reduces depth. It creates shallow output. If you want stronger results, do one thing at a time. Close extra tabs. Silence background conversations. Finish one task before starting another. Your focus reflects your priorities. If everything is allowed to interrupt you, your goals will never receive full attention. Decide what matters most today. Give it your best mental energy early, before distractions accumulate. Temptation also appears in social form. Conversations that stretch unnecessarily. Invitations that conflict with your priorities. Saying yes automatically may feel polite, but it can sabotage your schedule. Strengthen focus by guarding your time. Not every request deserves immediate acceptance. Evaluate before committing. The way you begin your day influences your concentration. If the first hour is spent consuming random content, your mind becomes scattered. If the first hour is spent in planning, reading, or meaningful work, your mind becomes directed. Morning discipline sets mental tone. There is also digital clutter, hundreds of unread emails, constant group messages. If you check them all day, you live in reaction mode. Instead, designate specific times to review and respond. Outside those times, return to your main task. You may fear missing something important. Most urgent matters will reach you regardless. The cost of constant checking is higher than the risk of delayed response. Strengthening focus requires honesty about your habits. Track how often you interrupt yourself. Notice how many times per hour you glance at your phone or switch tasks. Awareness exposes patterns. Once you see the frequency, you will understand why work feels slow. Temptation is not always digital. It can be comfort, lying down when you plan to work, snacking when you feel restless, engaging in unnecessary errands to avoid difficult tasks. Identify your personal escape patterns. Replace them with healthier breaks. Stretch, walk briefly, drink water, reset without losing direction. Focus improves when goals are meaningful. If your task lacks purpose, distraction becomes attractive. Connect your work to a larger reason. Remind yourself why it matters. Purpose fuels attention. In 2026, those who can concentrate deeply will outperform those who are constantly distracted. The ability to sustain attention is becoming rare. Rarity creates value. Train yourself gradually. Start with short, focused sessions. Increase duration over time. Celebrate completion of distraction-free intervals. Each success strengthens your mental endurance. When you remove easy temptations, you create space for progress. Without constant interruption, your thinking becomes sharper, your output improves. Your confidence rises because you see tangible results. There will be days when distraction wins. Do not respond with self-criticism. Reset quickly. Analyze what allowed the interruption. Adjust your environment. Continue. Focus is not a personality trait. It is a skill developed through design and discipline. Imagine finishing each day knowing you gave full attention to what truly matters. Imagine the projects completed, the knowledge gained, the strength built. That future depends on how well you manage temptation today. Control your environment before expecting control over your impulses. Remove what weakens you. Keep what strengthens you. Guard your attention as if it shapes your destiny, because it does. When easy temptations lose their access to you, your potential gains access to growth, and in 2026, that difference will define your results.
Chapter 8. Create pressure that pushes you to improve. Most people try to avoid pressure. They want life to feel smooth, calm, and predictable. They remove deadlines. They lower standards. They tell themselves they will improve when they feel inspired. Then months pass and nothing significant changes. Pressure, when used correctly, is not your enemy. It is a force that sharpens you. Without it, effort becomes optional. When effort is optional, growth becomes unlikely. In 2026, comfort is easy to access. You can design a life with very little challenge if you choose, but a life without challenge rarely produces strength. Muscles grow under resistance, skills improve under demand, character forms under expectation. The key is not to wait for external pressure. The key is to create internal pressure that drives progress. External pressure often comes in the form of crisis, deadlines at work, financial strain, health warnings, relationship problems. When these appear, people suddenly take action. They stay up late to finish tasks.
They change habits when health declines. They push harder when consequences are visible. Why wait for crisis to move? Instead of reacting to pressure, design it in advance. Set deadlines for yourself that are real, not vague goals like someday or this year. Choose a date. Write it down. Tell someone you trust. A deadline transforms intention into urgency. If you want to complete a project, decide when it must be finished. Break it into weekly targets. Hold yourself accountable to those targets. The ticking clock creates focus. Public commitment is another powerful tool. When you share a goal with others, your reputation becomes involved. You feel a healthy tension to follow through. You do not want to explain excuses. That social pressure increases discipline. Choose carefully who you share with. Select people who respect growth. Their expectations will support your effort. Financial pressure can also be used wisely. Invest in courses or training that require commitment. When you have money at stake, your seriousness increases. You attend sessions. You complete assignments. You respect the opportunity more. Without investment, it is easy to quit. Competition creates another form of positive pressure. Join groups where standards are higher than yours. Surround yourself with people who are disciplined. Their pace challenges you. Their consistency exposes your laziness. That discomfort can motivate you to improve. If everyone around you is comfortable with mediocrity, you will likely adapt to that level. Raise your environment to raise your standards. Measurement also creates pressure. Track your performance. If you want to improve fitness, record your workouts. If you want to increase income, track earnings and expenses. If you want to improve focus, measure hours of deep work. Numbers reveal truth. Truth creates tension. Tension pushes action. Without measurement, it is easy to overestimate effort. Another method is setting consequences for inaction. If you fail to complete a weekly goal, assign a penalty. Donate to a cause you dislike. Perform an extra difficult task. Remove a privilege temporarily. These consequences create stakes. Pressure works when something is at risk. Be careful to design pressure that challenges but does not overwhelm. Too much pressure leads to burnout. Too little leads to stagnation. Find a level that stretches you without breaking you. Ask yourself what you truly want in 2026. Better health, higher income, stronger skills, clearer thinking. Once you define that, ask what level of pressure is required to reach it. If you want to write a book, waiting for inspiration will not work. Commit to a daily word count. Share your progress publicly. Schedule reviews with a mentor. These structures create accountability. If you want financial growth, set savings targets, automate transfers, limit discretionary spending, review your budget weekly. These systems create discipline. If you want physical improvement, register for an event, a race, a competition, a fitness challenge. Having a date on the calendar forces preparation. Pressure changes behavior because it makes consequences visible. There is also internal pressure that comes from standards. Raise your personal expectations. Decide that average effort is no longer acceptable. Decide that your word matters. Decide that quitting easily is not aligned with who you want to become. Standards shape action. When your standards are low, you accept excuses. When your standards are high, you reject them. Pressure is not about self-criticism. It is about responsibility. It is about understanding that your future depends on your current intensity. Consider how you perform under real deadlines. When something must be done by morning, you find energy, you focus, you remove distractions. That capacity exists within you already. The difference is urgency. Create urgency before it is forced upon you. Time blocks with strict boundaries create pressure. If you have 1 hour to complete a task, you work differently than if you have all day. Limited time sharpens attention. Artificial constraints can improve performance. Accountability partners are another form of constructive pressure. Meet weekly to review progress. Report results honestly. Knowing someone will ask about your actions increases follow-through. Choose partners who are serious, not casual. Pressure also grows when you visualize the cost of inaction. Imagine yourself 1 year from now having made no progress. Imagine the frustration. Imagine the regret. That image creates internal tension. Use it as fuel. At the same time, imagine the satisfaction of improvement. Picture stronger health, better finances, clearer confidence. That vision creates positive pressure. The right kind of pressure energizes rather than drains. It gives direction. It provides structure. Avoid environments that remove all expectations. When no one expects anything from you, you may relax too much. Seek environments where performance matters. In 2026, the gap between disciplined individuals and distracted individuals will widen. Those who create pressure to grow will advance faster. Those who wait for motivation will remain where they are. Do not rely on mood, rely on structure. Another powerful strategy is setting ambitious but realistic goals. Goals that are too easy do not create pressure. Goals that are impossible create discouragement. Choose goals that stretch your current ability. Stretching builds capacity. You can also use deadlines that are slightly earlier than necessary. If something is due in 2 weeks, aim to finish in 10 days. That buffer protects you and builds intensity. Remove the option of endless delay. Pressure can also be created through identity. Decide that you are someone who performs under demand. When challenges arise, see them as tests of character. This mindset transforms stress into opportunity. Physical training offers a clear example. Muscles grow when they face resistance beyond comfort. Without resistance, they remain the same. The same principle applies to your mind and career. Growth requires tension. If your life feels too easy, improvement slows. If your life feels too chaotic, stability suffers. Balance is found when you deliberately challenge yourself while maintaining control. In 2026, do not wait for circumstances to force discipline. Build systems that demand effort from you. Set clear weekly goals every Sunday. Review them every Friday. Track completion. Adjust when necessary. This rhythm creates consistent pressure. Limit time wasted on low-value activities by scheduling high-value tasks first. When important work is completed early, you feel relief and momentum. Use reminders that keep your goals visible. Notes on your desk, progress charts, scheduled check-ins. Visibility maintains awareness. Pressure without purpose feels stressful. Pressure aligned with purpose feels motivating. Always connect your demands to your deeper reason. Why does improvement matter? Who benefits from your growth? What changes in your life when you elevate your standards? When purpose is clear, pressure becomes meaningful. If you find yourself drifting, increase your challenge, take on a new skill, raise your target, enter a competitive environment, push your limits slightly beyond comfort. Avoid long periods of stagnation. Stagnation reduces confidence. You are capable of more than you think. Often, you only discover that capability when pushed. Create that push intentionally. Pressure is not punishment, it is preparation. It prepares you for opportunities. It prepares you for leadership. It prepares you for responsibility. In 2026, design your life so that growth is required, not optional. Set deadlines, track performance, raise standards, invite accountability, invest in development, surround yourself with driven individuals. Do not fear pressure, use it. When you create the right level of demand, you awaken strengths that comfort would never reveal, and those strengths will define the next version of you.
Chapter 9. Reflect daily to correct your hidden patterns. Most people move through their days on autopilot. They wake up, react, complete tasks, handle problems, and go to sleep. Then they repeat the cycle. Weeks pass, months pass. They work hard, yet certain results never change. The same frustrations return. The same mistakes appear. The same goals remain unfinished. The problem is not always effort. The problem is unexamined patterns. Every person operates with hidden habits. These habits shape decisions, reactions, and outcomes. Some patterns are useful. Others quietly limit progress. If you never pause to observe them, they continue running your life without your awareness. Daily reflection is how you bring those patterns into the light. Reflection is not overthinking. It is not self-criticism. It is not replaying events to feel guilty. It is honest evaluation with the goal of improvement. In 2026, life moves quickly. Notifications, deadlines, conversations, and responsibilities fill your schedule. If you do not intentionally create space to think about your behavior, you will keep repeating it. At the end of each day, sit quietly for a few minutes. Ask simple questions. What did I do well today? Where did I lose focus? When did I react emotionally? What decisions moved me forward? What actions held me back? Do not rush this process. Do not distract yourself while doing it. This is a private meeting with yourself. Hidden patterns often show up in small moments. You may notice that every afternoon your productivity drops. Instead of adjusting your routine, you blame lack of motivation. Reflection reveals the pattern. Maybe you need a short walk before that time. Maybe your lunch is too heavy. Maybe you schedule difficult tasks too late. Without reflection, you assume the problem is your personality. With reflection, you see it is your system. Patterns also appear in relationships. You may realize that you interrupt people when stressed, or that you avoid difficult conversations, or that you become defensive when receiving feedback. These behaviors may feel automatic. They may feel justified in the moment. Reflection allows you to step back and observe them objectively. When you observe without denial, growth becomes possible. There is power in writing down your observations. Thoughts fade. Written words remain. Keep a simple notebook. Record your daily wins and mistakes. Over time, themes will appear. You may notice that you procrastinate on tasks that feel unfamiliar. You may see that your energy improves on days when you exercise. You may discover that certain people drain your focus. These insights are valuable. They give you control. In 2026, many people chase productivity tools. They download apps. They try new planners. They follow complex systems, yet they ignore their own behavior. No tool can fix a pattern you refuse to acknowledge. Reflection creates awareness. Awareness creates choice. Without awareness, you react automatically. With awareness, you respond intentionally. Be honest during reflection. Avoid protecting your ego. If you wasted 2 hours, admit it. If you spoke harshly, admit it. If you avoided a responsibility, admit it. Honesty may feel uncomfortable for a moment, but it prevents long-term stagnation. You cannot correct what you refuse to see. Reflection should also include recognition of progress. Notice improvements. Notice moments when you handled a situation better than before. This builds encouragement. Growth is not only about fixing flaws, it is about reinforcing strengths. Balance your evaluation. Identify both adjustments and victories. Hidden patterns often operate beneath emotions. For example, you may notice that whenever you feel overwhelmed, you reach for distraction, or whenever you feel criticized, you withdraw, or whenever you feel bored, you seek unnecessary stimulation. These emotional triggers guide behavior. Once identified, you can prepare for them. If you know that stress leads to distraction, create a stress response plan. Take a short break. Breathe slowly. Break tasks into smaller parts. Replace the old reaction with a new one intentionally. Correction requires replacement, not just awareness. Another important area for reflection is time usage. Look at your schedule and compare it with your goals. Did your actions reflect your priorities? If health matters, did you move your body? If financial growth matters, did you develop skills or manage money carefully? If relationships matter, did you invest attention in the right people? Alignment between goals and actions determines progress. Reflection also reveals thinking patterns. Notice how you speak to yourself during challenges. Do you say, "I am not good at this"? Do you say, "This is too hard"? Or do you say, "I need more practice"? Your internal dialogue shapes resilience. If your self-talk is negative, replace it with constructive language. Not unrealistic optimism, but realistic encouragement. Daily reflection is like adjusting a compass. Even small corrections prevent large deviations over time. Without adjustment, you may drift far from your intended direction without realizing it. Many people wait until the end of the year to evaluate their lives. By then, habits are deeply rooted. Small daily adjustments are more effective than large yearly changes. Keep your reflection short but consistent. 5 to 10 focused minutes can change your trajectory. Consider also reflecting on your environment. Did your surroundings support your focus? Did certain locations improve your productivity? Did certain habits reduce your energy? Adjust your environment accordingly. Patterns are influenced by context. Look at how you start your day. Does your morning routine prepare you mentally, or does it scatter your attention? Look at how you end your day. Does your evening help you rest properly, or does it keep your mind overstimulated? Evening reflection improves morning performance. When you make mistakes, do not use reflection as a tool for self-attack. Use it as a tool for learning. Ask what triggered the mistake. Ask what you can do differently next time. Design a small corrective step. For example, if you noticed that you delayed an important task because it felt complex, next time break it into smaller pieces immediately. If you noticed that you lost patience during a conversation, next time pause before responding.
Correction requires specific action. Reflection also builds humility. You recognize that you are capable of error. You become more open to improvement. This humility strengthens relationships and leadership. In 2026, speed will tempt you to move without thinking. Reflection slows you down briefly so you can move forward more effectively. Your patterns today shape your results tomorrow. If you want different results, you must adjust those patterns. Ask yourself regularly, what behavior keeps repeating in my life? If the same problem appears in different forms, there is likely a pattern behind it. For example, if financial stress appears often, examine spending habits. If career dissatisfaction repeats, examine skill development. If relationship tension persists, examine communication style. Patterns hide in repetition. The goal of reflection is not perfection, it is progress. Improvement is gradual. Small corrections accumulate. When you reflect daily, you become more self-aware. Self-awareness improves decision-making. You anticipate your weaknesses. You leverage your strengths. You design your day more effectively. Without reflection, you live by reaction. With reflection, you live by intention. In 2026, make daily evaluation part of your routine. Protect those few minutes. Turn off distractions. Sit quietly. Think honestly. Write clearly. Over weeks you will see change. Over months you will feel stronger. Over a year you may hardly recognize the person you were before. Hidden patterns lose power when exposed. You are not fixed. Your habits are not permanent. Your reactions are not destiny. Through daily reflection, you gain the ability to reshape your behavior consciously. And when you reshape your behavior, you reshape your future.
Chapter 10. Reinvent yourself through disciplined use of time. There comes a point in life when you realize that who you are today is the result of how you have been using your time, not your intentions, not your excuses, not your circumstances alone. Your hours have shaped your identity. Your routines have built your strengths and exposed your weaknesses. If you want to reinvent yourself in 2026, you will not do it with slogans. You will do it with disciplined time. Reinvention sounds dramatic. It sounds like a sudden transformation. In reality, it is structured change repeated daily. It is waking up and deciding that your hours will no longer be spent the same way. It is choosing a new direction and organizing your schedule around that decision. Look at your current life honestly. Your physical condition reflects past habits. Your financial situation reflects past decisions. Your knowledge reflects past learning patterns. None of this is random. Time has been working quietly, either for you or against you. The powerful truth is that time will continue working. The only question is whether you will guide it with discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is design. It is choosing in advance how you will use your hours, instead of leaving them open to chance. If you want to reinvent your health, you must reserve time for movement and recovery. If you want to reinvent your income, you must reserve time for skill development and strategic work. If you want to reinvent your mindset, you must reserve time for reading, thinking, and reflection. Reinvention is scheduled. In 2026, the world will not slow down to give you free space for growth. You must carve it out. You must protect it. You must treat it as essential. Start by defining the person you want to become. Not in vague terms, but in clear qualities: stronger, more disciplined, more focused, financially stable, emotionally balanced, skilled, confident. Then ask yourself what that person does daily. That future version of you does not waste entire evenings without intention. That version does not postpone important work repeatedly. That version respects sleep, health, and learning. Now begin aligning your current schedule with that identity. Time blocking is one practical method. Assign specific periods for key activities: deep work, exercise, study, family, rest. When time is assigned, it becomes intentional. When time is left unplanned, it becomes vulnerable. Protect your most productive hours. Identify when your energy is highest. Use that window for meaningful tasks. Do not give that period to low-value activities. Reinvention requires priority. Remove habits that contradict your new direction. If late-night scrolling reduces your sleep quality, reduce it. If unnecessary meetings consume your focus, limit them. If distractions weaken your consistency, create boundaries. Every habit consumes time. Choose habits that build you. Reinvention also requires patience. You will not feel different after one disciplined day, but after 30 days of consistent effort, you will notice change. After 90 days, others will notice it too. Time compounds results quietly. There will be moments when your old identity tries to return. Old routines feel familiar. Old excuses feel comfortable. Discipline means you do not negotiate with those impulses. You return to your schedule. You follow through. Consistency creates identity shift. In 2026, many people will talk about transformation. Few will commit to structured daily action. You can separate yourself by being serious about your hours. Morning routines matter. The way you begin your day influences your direction. Wake up at a defined time. Move your body. Review your priorities. Enter the day with clarity instead of reaction. Evening routines matter too. Prepare for tomorrow before you sleep. Review what you completed. Identify adjustments. Go to bed with intention, not exhaustion from chaos. Reinvention requires energy management. Protect your physical health. Eat with awareness. Sleep adequately. Exercise consistently. A tired body struggles to maintain discipline. Mental energy also requires care. Limit exposure to negativity. Choose content that educates or inspires growth. Guard your attention from constant noise. Time discipline is not about filling every minute. It is about using each block purposefully. Schedule rest. Schedule recreation. Schedule connection. When rest is intentional, it refreshes you instead of derailing you. Measure your progress weekly. Review your commitments. Did you follow your plan? Where did you drift? What needs adjustment? This feedback loop strengthens discipline. Reinvention often feels uncomfortable because it disrupts familiarity. Friends may notice changes. Your routine may feel stricter. Some habits may be removed. Stay focused on the long-term outcome. Ask yourself regularly whether your current schedule reflects your desired future. If not, adjust immediately. Do not wait for a new year or a dramatic moment. Financial reinvention requires disciplined budgeting and investment of time into learning. Track spending. Allocate resources intentionally. Study areas that increase earning potential. Physical reinvention requires disciplined training and recovery. Plan workouts. Monitor nutrition. Respect rest days. Professional reinvention requires disciplined skill building. Dedicate hours weekly to learning. Practice deliberately. Seek feedback. Emotional reinvention requires disciplined self-control. Monitor reactions. Pause before responding. Reflect on triggers. Replace impulsive behavior with thoughtful action. Each of these areas depends on time management. There will be distractions. There will be invitations to drift. Discipline means returning to your plan repeatedly, not perfectly, but persistently. Celebrate milestones quietly. Acknowledge progress. Notice increased strength. Notice improved focus. Notice better decision-making. These signs confirm that disciplined time is reshaping you. Reinvention is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming the strongest version of yourself. In 2026, do not rely on motivation to carry you. Build systems that support you. Fixed schedules, clear priorities, defined limits. When you feel uncertain, return to your calendar. It reflects your seriousness. There will be days when you fall short. Do not abandon the process. Correct quickly. Resume discipline. One missed session does not erase transformation. Repeated neglect does. Protect your mornings. Guard your peak energy. Limit distractions. Review daily. Adjust weekly. This steady approach may not look dramatic from the outside, but inside, it builds resilience. It builds self-trust. It builds momentum. The person you become next year depends on how you use today. Reinvention through disciplined time is practical, it is measurable, it is achievable. You do not need extreme change overnight. You need consistent structure. Commit to a clear wake time. Commit to daily focused work. Commit to physical movement. Commit to learning. Commit to reflection. Follow through. Over time, these commitments redefine you. Your confidence will rise because you see evidence of growth. Your opportunities will expand because your skills improve. Your stress will reduce because your schedule is organized. Discipline may feel strict at first. Soon it feels freeing. When your time is directed, your mind is calmer. You stop wondering whether you are doing enough. You know you are. In 2026, reinvent yourself not with promises but with structure. Design your days carefully. Protect your hours fiercely. Execute your plan consistently.
The person you want to become is built one disciplined day at a time, and that construction begins with how you choose to spend your next hour.